Cool. All right. What's up, Hybrid Athlete team? How's everybody doing out there? Hope you are all enjoying your weekend. This is being recorded on Saturday, August 3rd, I believe. Yeah, August 3rd, 2024. So this is episode 25 of my podcast. It's been kind of a lot going on outside of on my social media, on what I put on this channel specifically. Obviously, I do a bunch of, physical updates for me, my weight gain and stuff, and tracking my progress and going into like a nice lean bulk that's been going pretty successful. I'm basically at 194 pounds right now. So, up 12, 13 pounds from when I did my marathon, now going on 3 months ago. So that's good progress, good results. Good growth, and growth is the focus of today's conversation, today's video. I think growth is it's a thing that can be finite, meaning like you can track it incrementally, and you can measure it, and you can visually see yourself, your business, your whatever, your family, whatever it is, grow like incrementally or literally. But also it's almost like kind of like when your hair grows, like you don't really notice it until you look up and maybe a month or 2 months or a year down the road and say, wow, I'm a lot different from what I was a year ago. And I want to dig into that process, like the mentality of that process, the delayed gratification aspect of those processes, and relate them back to my training and my personal reflection on how my year has gone since I finished my, I'm basically 13 months out from when I did my last Ironman, 14 months now. So I'll insert a video or a picture of what I looked like basically 11 to 12 months ago. I was quite a bit lighter. I was definitely more lean. I had pretty much like a visual six pack going on. But I was lighter and I had different goals. So I think for me, like this is going to be a great episode for me to maybe open up a little bit more now that I'm getting some more viewership, and then tell you guys a little bit more about kind of who I am, like how I function kind of on a day-to-day, what's going on internally in my mind in terms of, how society is, like just the state of the world, politics, religion, finance, business, all that stuff. There's so many things that people throw at you. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for me to kind of, circulate around business, fitness, and kind of my approach and my mentality. And then maybe see if you can kind of pull from some of, my philosophies and my opinions to, apply that to your life and make a positive change or it can either be a positive confirmation. Like, yeah, I agree with what Nate's saying. Like he's throwing down some good ideas, some good facts, some good, some good interpretations that I, as a, kind of as a fellow American, fellow, business person, fellow, fitness enthusiast can relate to, just by virtue of the fact that we are all kind of chasing a lot of the same goals. I won't get into that now. I'll wait until I actually get on the subject, but yeah, that's kind of my intro to today. It's probably going to be like a 15 to 20 minute video. Not too long, but I definitely want to give you guys kind of a little bit more oomph as, we're getting into more episodes and maybe get some more followings and stuff. And I'm real excited about this guy, James Gold. He's a great cameraman. So he took some footage of me working out at my local gym, Vasa, where I always go. He got 5 days of workouts for me, and he's going to make like a little mini documentary of me. We had a nice interview. We had, like I said, 5 workout sessions. So he got every body part, a lot of sets and stuff. And it was kind of me at, some of those were of me at max intensity. So it'll be nice to maybe add some of those clips and stuff into my content here and give you guys a kind of a visual of what I do too in the gym. Cause I'm not one of those guys who wants to record myself. I just go in, do my work, take care of business, and get in, get out, and get on with the rest of my day. But that's going to be nice to kind of open up maybe some more clients, some more opportunities. If you ever want to, talk to me about getting one of my diet plans or becoming a client, I have a very niche type of service, which it's going to be on my website once I get it up and running again. I had an issue with my domain name, but that's the bank rejected my transaction for some reason, but that's been annoying. It's been a headache, but we're going to get that up and running this next week. But yeah, there's a lot of, I guess I have an umbrella of coverage, kind of like an insurance company. Like, I'll cover diet, I'll cover workout plans, I'll cover, conversations, phone calls, 30-minute phone calls are included in the plans. A diet template. All you have to do is have a Gmail account, open up that Gmail. I'll send you everything you need. I'll send you an intro. I'll send you the diet plans, how to use them, instructions, recommended training, all that stuff, follow up, continuous follow up. We can either, reach out through text or through email, whatever you want. So pretty versatile service. And I've been doing this for a while. I'm getting some good feedback from some of my some of my diet clients specifically. So good results and results that outperform kind of the generic app, the app that you download. There's plenty of people that are coming out with apps and companies saying, hey, enter your weight, your goal, all this stuff. This will tell you how many rep sets, whatever. That's not really how it works. You got to go by feel. It has to be a hands-on kind of personal touch to it. All the best trainers in the world, basically, that train the top, bodybuilders, for example, like Hani Rambod and Chad Nichols and some of these guys, like, they're on point with everything. They're literally checking in emails morning, here's a picture update, whatever, do this, change this, go have a cheat meal, do this, sleep this much, do whatever, water, sodium, on the whole thing. So, mine is at that detail. I'm not claiming that I'm, a professional level trainer or I myself an elite professional, but I am saying that I have the knowledge of most of those guys. So with that being said, let's get into some of the content, some of the stuff I wanted to talk about in terms of, my mentality through this growth phase. Like I said at the beginning of the video, growth is very important. I mean, growth is the fundamental, definition of what the result of what your effort brings you. So, it's literally, reaping the benefits of, the fruits of your labor. So when you're not growing, that's a problem. Also, when you are growing, you want to figure out why you're growing and why you're not growing as fast as you want to, or maybe you surprise yourself in a positive way and said, well, I didn't expect to grow that much. So when I consider growth, I basically separate growth into kind of two areas. So physical growth, or like growth that's planned, and growth that's kind of like premeditated, and then also growth that I discover along the way, and then I kind of like reformat into my planned growth. For example, if I set a goal and I say, I want to just lift, and this is the goal that I've actually done the last 2-3 months. So, my goal was I want to weigh 205 pounds by the end of the year, by Christmas. So it'll be basically 2 series of bulks and cuts. It'll be bulk to 198, 200, cut to 190, then go from 190 to 205, and then cut to like 196, 195, 196. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, that's the physical, that's the, the exact goal that I'm tracking. And I'm saying, okay, I'm on point. But then say, for example, one week I feel better, or I change something in my diet, or I change something in how I train. I say, okay, I'm going to do legs twice a week and do more machine work as opposed to doing barbell exercises. Oh, that felt better. I got a better response. I feel my legs growing, like whatever it is, those types of like, little nuances that are included in your goal tracking. You don't erase what you had pre-planned, but you definitely make active updates and adjustments. Especially from a weightlifting perspective, you need to, and I mentioned this on the last episode, you need to basically select new exercises that are going to challenge you and kind of, get a different response. I've done 2 things this last week. First thing is I've included more high intensity training because I am eating a lot and I'm not running as much, just like straight miles like I used to. I'm getting a little body fat, which I don't necessarily like in my midsection. So what I'm saying is, okay, let's up the dosage of high intensity training. So now I'm going boxing on Monday, boxing on Saturday. And I'm also doing a barbell complex workout with slightly more weight and a few more reps and sets. So it's going to be more calorie burn, more fat burn within the week. It's not going to drain me completely, but it's going to keep me a little bit leaner, a little bit sharper. I may need to, take in more caffeine, or I may need to drink more water to adjust and recover from that. Because on that day, for example, on Monday is my 2-a-day workouts. I go right into Tuesday. I do a heavy leg day on Tuesday. So obviously if I do back and shoulders on Monday, and then I, add in maybe a little bit more volume or whatever it is, or, a change to my workout on Tuesday, that needs to be planned for and prepared for. So a lot of times your recovery needs to be at the same time frame, but the way in which you tear down the muscle can change. But ultimately, you want to have the same weekly schedule of recovery, calorie consumption, if you're shooting for a specific body weight or body composition. But within that, there's different methods that can stimulate that response, that process, that growth. Like I'm saying, it's all about basically getting the most bang for your buck, getting the most out of what you put in. If you basically do the same lift, the same reps, but you're giving good effort, you might not grow as fast as if you say, okay, this week I'm going to do exercise A, B, and C for chest. And then next week I'm going to do exercise D, E, and F for chest. And I'm going to alternate and then study and figure out what works best for me, what type of response I get. That's another example for me when I think about my own training. Let's talk about chest for a minute. So everyone wants a bigger chest, but a lot of guys say, well, I'm not getting I'm really not tearing down. I'm not sore after I do a chest workout. You're not tearing down those fibers literally by, expanding your chest cavity and then going up and holding and squeezing at the top. I do that with the machine work. So at the end of my workout, if I did heavier barbell, I'm finally starting to rep out 225, which is a good feeling because I don't do that during endurance season. So I'm really, starting to push the envelope and, maybe one day it's a 315 bench, who knows? But for me, it's like, okay, let me do my due diligence to get my heavy sets in, maybe like a 5x5, 225 or something. And then instead of doing like a dumbbell fly, or dumbbell flies are great, that's not a good example, but instead of maybe doing like machine press, I'll go right into like a deep stretch fly. Arnold Schwarzenegger in some of his videos back from Pumping Iron, that famous documentary DVD, he would literally go all the way down like damn near to the floor when he like literally close to tearing his pec on a dumbbell fly and then come back up. So, there's a lot of like deep movement kind of, it's almost like stretching while lifting exercises you can do to keep the intensity and to really like push healthy growth of the muscle and avoid injury. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is find ways to basically work into your exercise routine, ways that will increase the difficulty, the intensity, and growth, thereby growth, by just changing, because your body does become accustomed. It basically just kind of acquiesces to what you give it. That can be from a food perspective, from a training perspective, from a stress perspective. The more stress you allow yourself to, subdue or, undergo, then you're going to feel different about exercise. You're going to feel different about your kids, about your spouse, whatever. So managing all that, this will be a nice time for me on this episode to transition from basically in the gym, what you do to adjust and acquiesce to growth and kind of change your strategy while tracking your initial goal. That's a huge point that I want to make is, if you set a hefty goal or a goal that you may not think is possible or requires extreme effort, that's great. But I think everyone should avoid abandoning that goal if it gets difficult, or if you find you do need to change the approach. For example, if you say initially, okay, I want to squat 350 pounds for 5 reps in 6 months from now. And then you say, okay, I found out that I get a better set when it's lighter weight, something like that. And then you say, okay, screw 350 for 5 reps or whatever. I'm just going to do, 275 for 20, or do a superset or something, and then set that new goal. That's fine. But holding yourself accountable to the initial goal and discovering a different method that's better, I think is very important. It's very valuable. And that really comes in handy in life and in business. For example, if you tell your kids, this is one that's big for me. If I tell my son that I'm going to, play with him at this time or do something at this time of the day, and something else comes up, or maybe I'm, deep into something else, my work at my professional work or something else, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to pull away, or it's hard to change, but I tell myself you have to, because this is what you committed to initially. It's the same with physical goals. It's the same with relationships, and being known as somebody who basically a man of your word or woman of your word, and you complete what you say you're going to do. I find that to be very important in fitness too. This spring, I got no joy out of doing the marathon I did. I'll be straight up honest. I started seeing good muscle growth. I was leaning towards bodybuilding even early this year. I came off my off season at 195, 196. I was peaking with good weight sessions, like, heavier bench press, good leg workouts, like just throwing 315 around off the floor, deadlift, going right into some heavy squats, just feeling it. And then I said, okay, well, now I'm going to stop, because I made this commitment for this last year. I'm going to do this marathon. So I shut everything down. I went into a race prep, but then I came back to that goal, and I'm already back there again within 2 months. So I came back stronger. The point I'm trying to make is that even though it's not maybe enjoyable, making those small mental sacrifices, or even those sacrifices of preference in weightlifting, are also the same types of sacrifices you make in your personal life and in business. There may be a project that you take on and you say, well, I'd rather do this project because it's more enjoyable, because I'm more in control. Maybe I don't have to work with as many colleagues. Maybe there's not a manager telling me what to do on this project that I prefer. But again, your overall growth is going to benefit, and your development as a person overall, and your long-term satisfaction in life is going to be better off while you're tracking goals, you adjust, but you don't delete, you don't reform, you don't change every goal once you start feeling better or different about a specific type of, activity. So that being said, I think that should paint a good picture in your guys' minds of kind of what I'm about, because I'm the type of guy, rain, unless there's a hurricane, and, I live in northern Colorado, unless there's a tornado that tears down the building, I'm going in to work out. And I don't care how much stuff I got going on in my personal life, how much, maybe my wife has something going on. Maybe my job is demanding more of me from a project perspective, from a client service perspective. I wake up 2 hours earlier. I do whatever it takes. Sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. just to get the morning workout if I have a lot going on in the afternoon or if I have something else going on. Those sacrifices to work around it are really the foundation of what, and a lot of guys speak to this online, and I think it's a great point, is really never compromise like the long-term goal, like, why you started, why you made a decision to do something. If you made a good decision in your mind and you thought about it, you contemplated, and you said, okay, in 12 months, I'm going to do this. Don't let anything, even a change in your training, a change in your approach, change in your philosophy, a change in the process, deviate, deter you from reaching that goal. Because you can always reset, adjust after you meet that goal and recalibrate. But the habit of recalibrating while chasing the same goal and holding yourself accountable is just a lethal combination that'll make you a much better person and just overall a much better human being. I hope that makes sense. Again, it really ties into like fitness and all these areas of your life because, I'm going to get into a little bit these last 5 minutes kind of the state of the world and how my training and how I believe your training, as you, the person watching this video, how they can really shape and help you kind of get through these tough times that we're about to go through. I'm one of the individuals that believes that, what's happened in the past month in the political world is also a sign that, basically, and there's plenty of other sources and videos you could look this up on. I'm not going to go deep into scripture. I'm not going to go deep into, stats about businesses, about the left, the right, whatever preferences. I'm just here to report that there's going to be I strongly believe that there's going to be a paradigm shift, like a really strong shift in people's awareness and knowledge of how the world actually works. And that can be scary for a lot of people who have not really dug into it like I have, or, you have, or other people that are, when people are more active online, they tend to either go down the rabbit holes of conspiracies, or they're basically just, really into a specific type of content, a specific type of, production type of information. So I kind of investigate a lot of different sources. Maybe I'll post some of my favorite ones here on this episode at the bottom of the thumbnail. But bottom line is that being a healthy physical person is really going to pay off when shit hits the fan. And shit may hit the fan in various ways. It may be a civil war. It may not. I really hope and pray that it's not, because my son is 9 years old. But if shit does hit the fan and things get really, really tough, almost like the Great Depression, what are you going to do? I mean, if you have, for example, if you have vices, like if you're, spending a lot on tobacco, alcohol, sex, drugs, whatever, those are going to haunt you when your finances really get tough. If you're not spending any extra money, if you're not going out to eat all the time, if you're not spending money on a bunch of booze every week, if you're not spending money on cocaine, marijuana, prostitutes, whatever, OnlyFans, whatever the hell it is, then you're basically going to be able to save your money, kind of hunker down, and basically stay disciplined through this process. Because when things get really tough, and I believe they are before 2027, that may last a year, it may last 6 months, it may last 3 to 5 years, it may last more than 5 years. So answering the question before it happens of what am I going to do, especially for the men, I believe that the patriarch is really the man who needs to make the big decisions in the household. I hold myself to that standard, and it's really paid off. It's really helped me grow and kind of become more mature as life goes on. But bottom line is, when you're a healthy individual, you can make more sound decisions under stress. I've worked in stressful work environments, and the more exercise I've done, the more I was able to make healthy, sound decisions during those times of stress. While people around me are kind of freaking out, losing their cool, I focus on staying calm and control. I've worked with some managers that have been great supervisors that have really helped me come to that realization. Especially when there's plenty of people that are losing their cool, unless it's unless it's a 911, like God forbid, like a terrorist attack or something, people that are going to be freaking out around you when it's not necessary to do that. And when there's a logical, sound solution, whether it's financial, whether it's, hey, let's come together as a community. We need to make some decisions on, whatever, like maybe we lost a resource, a huge resource. Maybe, the banks are shut down for a specific amount of time. People can access funds, resources. There's always a logical sound way, because human beings are very resilient, and we're going to need leadership to come together and basically say, hey, we're forming a healthy, God-fearing union of servants who have enough resources to help their neighbor, but who also aren't selfish and also don't have, evil, vindictive, moral, intentions or whatever it is. So that time, I strongly believe, is going to come once it hits your community, it becomes real. There's plenty of things that we see online that aren't real to us because, hey, they're in DC, or they're out in Israel and in the Middle East, or they're in Ukraine and Russia, whatever it is. Once that stuff becomes closer and closer to your home is when you're gonna start to pay more attention to it. And my advice to everyone, and my feeling, my sentiment is, I'm simply saying, plan for that, keep it in the back of your mind. I'm a religious guy. I personally believe that Jesus Christ is real. He was real. Some people believe he was just a prophet, but other religions recognize him as a very important individual. I'm in the camp of, yes, he was the most important man to ever walk this planet, and also he's coming back. So whether he comes back tomorrow or whether he comes back in 1,000 years, I decide to live under the belief that he will come back one day and that we need to be ready. And part of that helps you live a healthy, long, flourishing life because you fear a power that's above yourself. When you want to be the one who has all the power making all decisions, that's where you get in trouble. Also, digging back to fitness, and I'll finish this. Being tied closely, being dedicated to fitness is really going to help you make those decisions and hold those values and morals and realize that you're not the most important, powerful being that exists around you. Everyone really wants the same stuff. They want happiness. They want a relationship with the creator, with the higher being, with the higher power, because everyone essentially feels that way. So basically, if you're able to stay dedicated in fitness and hold yourself accountable to the goals and standards and settings that you set for yourself in that world, the rest of the world, the real world, as they say, everything else is going to come a lot easier for you when times do get tougher. I think we can all agree that times are relative, even during these times of political stress and other world wars and events going on, things could be a whole lot worse. And I pray a lot that they don't get worse. But if they do, I feel like I've done the necessary work in my personal life and personal development with my family, with my research and stuff, setting up myself for as much success or as much resilience as I can when times get tough. Thinking long term. That's what this episode's about, is holding on, staying focused on growth, keeping the long term plan in mind. But I'll leave it at that. It's been right at about 20-21 minutes, so I said I was going to go that long. But thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. I hope you got some value out of it. Check out my website if you have any questions on diet, whatever. Check out my shorts too, and my physique update. I'll post some more videos and stuff training now that I got some good content from this new guy that's helping me out. So I appreciate you guys. Take care, and then we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.